Japan has lots of fun things to do and fantastic areas to explore. Food that would make even the most picky eater drool at the mere sight and smell of it. But you guys know I like to yap about Japan, and today I'll be yapping about something a little spicy and controversial. Ooh. That's right, I'll be talking about your favorite things in Japan that I, as someone who lives here, find overrated, such as convenience store food. Understandably, you probably come from a place that has absolute garbage food at their convenience stores. I mean, I'm still traumatized from eating at 7-Eleven in California when I visited. And actually even more so by eating a hot dog at 7-Eleven in Norway. Western countries don't seem to understand what fresh means when it comes to convenience store food. So, understandably, Japan's convenience stores with all their freshness has kind of like a Nirvana-like reputation, right? Yes, the tamago sando is super good. Onigiri rocks, the bentos are bountiful and fresh. But it is in all fairness convenience store food. There are so many other better restaurants and places to go and eat at. So, so even if it's fresher than your own country, it's still convenience store food. Try a bento at a shop that specializes in small dishes and, pre-packed bentos, and you'll see what I mean. You'll see why normal convenience stores such as Lawson, 7-Eleven, Family Mart and all that is kind of overrated. And while we're on the topic of food, I have a bone to pick with Ichiran Ramen. Now, don't get me wrong, Ichiran Ramen tastes good. It is a Hakata style tonkotsu ramen, which is one of my favorite styles of ramen, as you can see by my BMI. But all the hype that it gets, I don't buy it. If you imagine that ramen chains here in Japan are similar to like fast food restaurants from where you're from, right? I would say that Ichiran Ramen might be Burger King and Ippudo would be McDonald's. Of course, the craft burger places would be better in most cases, just like a standalone ramen shop with an old moody owner would be. It would taste better. But sometimes you just want the easy, dirty way. And if you want the easy, dirty way, Ippudo wins over Ichiran Ramen any day of the week. Ichiran just has a broader global appeal and is just too hyped up and overrated. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. And this comes from somebody who likes Ichiran, alright? I like it. It's just a little bit overrated. Mount Fuji. Fuji-san is also pretty overrated. Yes, I know that Fuji-san is like the symbol of Japan and everything. And yes, it looks beautiful from afar. Now, what I'm really calling overrated is taking the bus up there and climbing up to the peak. I'm sorry, climbing, I mean taking that little hike up to the peak. I've done it and the extreme amount of tourists up there just blew my mind. Lines for everything. The gift shop was extremely expensive, and when you're on the top, you look down, all you can see is clouds. Enjoy Fuji from afar, from like Hakone or Lake Kawaguchi. Because, going to the top is insanely overrated, and your time would be better spent elsewhere. But not in Tokyo, because Tokyo is also overrated. Tokyo is where like 95% of first-timers in Japan will choose to go to, I want to see Team Borderless and Shibuya Crossing and Hachiko, and I want to go get drunk and piss everywhere in Golden Guy. Maybe even fight the Nigerian tout, who knows, I don't know what you want to do, maybe you want to do that, maybe you're crazy. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Tokyo is a mega city, it's the largest city in the entire world with like over 37 million people living in the core and in the boroughs or districts around it. And there are many nice places to go and explore and experience there. But to me, it's just a soulless concrete jungle with just a bunch of people walking around. I really wish that people would choose like other destinations as their first point of entry in Japan, like Sapporo, Osaka, Fukuoka, maybe even Kanazawa. And then maybe use one of those as a base, and then maybe visit Tokyo for a couple of days, right? No, people want to just stay in Tokyo because it's so big and hip and cool. But I've found that after you've been there for a few weeks, the areas lose their vibe and personality, and they just kind of blend into each other. That's the cornerstone of my bottomless hate for Tokyo. Matcha sure is fun on your first day in Japan, but when you blast through all variants of matcha latte, matcha cakes, matcha this, matcha that, you get pretty tired of it. Matcha here is kind of like that pumpkin spice shit that basic white girls enjoy in the West. And I gotta tell you, there will be a cold day in hell before I switch out my black coffee with a cup of matcha. Matcha gets old pretty fast and it's just simply overrated. In my opinion, please don't murder me, ladies. And lastly, I just gotta shit on karaoke a bit. Sure, it's fun to get your energy out by screaming talentlessly into a microphone to the utter horror of your inebriated friends. And if you listen to my advice from one of my previous videos, you probably went for a nomi hodai and a free time, which means you can sing as long as you want and you have like a limited time where you can drink as much as you want. Free bar, baby! Sure, it's fun for one night and something you should experience again, at least once when you're here, but it's not something you'll keep coming back to. It's basically like karaoke from your, your local dive bar, except you get to drink a lot more for less, and you're in a soundproof box, so only your friends get their ears absolutely trashed when you grab the mic. Kinda overrated, and the booths are kinda dirty in all of the various chains that I've been to. But that's not a surprise though, because, people fuck in them. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more Japan content like this, please remember to subscribe down there, and while you're down there, please click a like and help out the channel, please and thank you. And you can dislike the video if you didn't want me to say something bad about your favorite things, but then why would you watch all the way to the end to hear me say this to you then, weirdo? Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.